You have an organization that prides itself on the hunt, then you take the best tool that there is at hunting, and that is a dog. And you teach that dog ideally how to hunt, but you teach him not to hunt individually, but to hunt with a team.
Change in speed.
If you took a special operations dog and you took a patrol SWAT dog and you kind of meshed them, we built this hybrid canine.
And it looks great when you get the finished product. Nobody really sees what it takes because you have to be so consistent, so willing to sacrifice time and effort into getting, these dogs to do exactly what you need them to do.
If any program or any agency out there should be having tactical canines, it would be the United States Marshals Service. Our agency tracks and apprehends the most violent fugitives across the nation.
Deputy Jesus Jesse Vargas shot and killed while serving a warrant yesterday. That triggered a massive 6-hour manhunt. That's when Rocky, a canine officer with the U.S. Marshal's office, alerted authorities to a dumpster where Davis was hiding inside. Davis allegedly shot Rocky twice, and 4 U.S. Marshal's deputies returned fire, killing Davis.
This program was made for officer safety. It's hard, right? Because he ultimately was going to give his life for us. He took those rounds so we didn't have to, because we would have cleared that ourselves had we not had him. He definitely saved our lives that day.
He's a hero, right? The dog is the hero. And I don't know how many officers he saved, but he did.